Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Mr. Parker's Neighborhood. I'm Mr. Parker, and today, this is a reason why the show is done the way it is and why I chose to do it, because this young lady here, she was one of the examples of hanging out, meeting, talking, and never knew that, this is a powerhouse woman here. I'm going to, first of all, just say, welcome, Miss Adrian Bracy. How are you?
Oh, Cecil, it is wonderful to be here with you. I am doing wonderful. I am great. Thank you.
Good. Well, first of all, we got to play a little game that I play with all the viewers, and that is, guess what my guest does? So here are your choices today, viewers. Is she A, an accountant, B, a business manager, C, a teacher, D, a alderwoman, or E, none of the above? All right, it's over. Yeah, y'all didn't do it again, so don't worry about it. Miss Bracey, will you tell the people what it is that you actually do?
Well, actually, they would have had 2 out of the 4 or 5 to pick from. So by trade, I am an accountant, CPA by trade. I went to college, received a bachelor's degree in accounting. But I am also a business leader. So if they had said a business leader or an accountant, you could have given them credit. But today, actually, I consider myself still a business leader. I'm a coach, executive leadership coach. I'm an author. I'm also an executive director for a family office. And I am a retired CEO of YWCA, and I am a former NFL executive.
Told y'all wasn't guessing none of that stuff, so don't worry about it. Well, like I say, now that we went through the formalities of Miss Adrian Bracy, family time. Hey, Miss Adrian, how you doing?
I'm having fun. I'm just having fun sitting right here with you. That's what I'm doing.
We're going to have a whole lot more fun because the people are going to get to know a little bit about who you are. Like I said, we first met, it was at church, and I believe it was at the retreat. And we were sitting there laughing and talking and doing some things. And then about 3 weeks later, pastor says, and you don't know who you're sitting with or who you're around. Say, Miss Adrian Bracy, can you come out? You come out tomorrow. And she is with the Rams, the Super Bowl champion Rams. You're like, I was talking to her. I didn't know that she was. So can you first of all tell us, where are you actually from?
Sure. So I was born in Miami, Florida. And I'm a native Miamian, native Floridian. And I went to high school. So when they say, where did you go to school? I went to Miami Edison Senior High.
That's St. Louis question. Where did you go to school?
Absolutely. It's funny, when I first moved here, they said, oh, where did you go to school? Well, most people at my age at the time think of college. Right. So I said, oh, I went to Morgan State University. Oh, no. High school. Like, really? Who cares?
Right. Yeah, we're only cities like, hey, no, what about college? We're talking about high school. Did the high school rank up here?
Yes, it defines you here in St. Louis.
So like say you went to Morgan State for college.
Yes.
Now what did you study at Morgan State?
So when I went to college, originally, Cecil, I thought I was going to study law because that's what I know. That's what I wanted. That's what I had planned to be, an attorney. And so I went to college, my freshman year orientation. My counselor said, well, Adrian, we took a look at your high school transcript and your SAT scores, and we think you should, or she said, I think you should take an accounting course. And I said, well, the truth is, I don't know what accounting is. They didn't have that in my high school.
Right,
And she said,
right.
oh, well, have you heard of bookkeeping? I said, okay, yes, I've heard of bookkeeping. She said, well, accounting is similar to bookkeeping. I said, okay, well, I do like bookkeeping. So I took an accounting course in my freshman year and I never turned back.
So you got hooked on numbers.
Hooked on numbers.
Now, I mean, at that point in time, you were in college. Now, also being from Miami, that the major question is, you weren't a U fan? You weren't a fan of the U?
I know. I was a fan of the U, of course, but I was also a fan of Florida State. I was a fan of Bethune-Cookman. I was a fan of FAMU. So, but the U was my heart. Unfortunately, I really, believe it or not, didn't like the heat. I know that's crazy. I know it's crazy. But I thought, you know what, I want to go someplace cold. And my family, I had an aunt who lived in Baltimore.
Okay.
And so I gave her a call and said, Auntie, I would love to come, go to school in Baltimore. And she said, absolutely, sweetie, come on. So I got hooked on the Four Seasons and loved Baltimore, loved Morgan State more. But yeah, I enjoyed the Four Seasons.
So at Morgan State, were you involved in any extracurricular activities, or you enjoying it for sororities or anything, or you were just a student?
Well, in accounting is pretty tough, Cecil. So I really had to focus on my studies. But I did join the accounting club. Woo-hoo! I joined the accounting club, the boring accounting club, where we were called the bean counters. But then I decided that I wanted to do something different, and the sorority came after me. And so I actually pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Oh, the A, like AKA, are we? Oh, pick me up.
Yeah, no, that's it. So yes, I pledged Alpha Delta undergrad.
Okay, all right. And so in your undergrad, was there a point in time where, like I said, besides coming into the school, about wanting to be in law and then going to accounting, was there a point in time where I was doing that you were like, I don't want to do this. I really did. Was it ever that hump of I don't think I can, or you was always just accounting was it?
That was it. Yeah, that was it. I just couldn't think of anything else. It's like, okay, if I don't do this, what else am I going to do?
Oh, okay.
I don't like English and I don't like science. And yeah, so, and that's why I think that's why my counselor knew accounting was it, because if I had gone into law, I would have had to take political science.
Okay.
I would have, which political science, it's not like the science.
Yeah.
But she, that's a lot of reading and all that stuff. And it's like, nah, I don't want to have to learn all the history. Oh, no, just tell me the numbers. That's it. So, yeah. So no, there was never a time that I said, I don't want to do this. It was hard. Okay. Accounting was tough.
Right.
But I'm a competitor. I ran track in high school.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to that. Yeah. What did you actually do coming through?
Yeah.
Because the spirit you give off isn't one of complacency. It's one of, okay, I'm seeing what's going on. Then I'm going to go ahead and attack where I fit in.
Absolutely. Yes. And I think sports, does that to you. And it did it to me. So even when I was a young girl, 8 years old, I played in the local neighborhood. I played on the local neighborhood flag football team. Okay. So yes, I was the wide receiver because I was fast. And so I took that, and I remember just thinking, you know what, I got this. Maybe, I got this. I know they don't have girl football at the time. I was a little girl, but I always thought, I could do this. But, that was flag, right? Just putting
You said flag. Let's clear it all up. Flag. There was no hitting. It was flag.
No hitting. No. Oh, no. No. You
So you
just
say
pull the
flag
towel out.
football.
Yeah, pull that towel out of your pants and keep it moving. So,
We got flag football. You say you ran track as well?
I ran track in high school,
Okay.
and I finally gave up track when it started getting a little tough in school because I was promoted like to the advanced
Okay.
classes.
Okay.
And so that took up my time, and that I was like, look, if I don't get a scholarship, I don't go to college because my family can't afford to send me to college.
Gotcha.
So it's up to me. And so I have to either focus, unless I can get a scholarship in track.
Right.
And that I wasn't the fastest girl on the team. So I realized that I was probably more suited for academics than for sports.
Okay.
And so I decided, okay, if I'm going to get a scholarship and go to college, I've got to focus on my grades. And so that's what happened. So
Okay. So in growing up, like I said, you said that sports were somewhat of an outlet and a way of doing things. As far as your support system, your mother, father, I mean, are you an only child? You got siblings, or what's your breakdown on that one?
So when I was born into a family of 6. I was the youngest of 6.
Okay.
There were 3 girls and 3 boys. And my mom had, unfortunately, mental illness. And so she took me to another family's home, my aunt. And so I grew up there until I was 8. Until I was 10. But at 8 years old that's when I started to understand some of the dynamics of my family. You know, I'm not part of, and it was even younger than that, but I guess I was a little bit more older, knowing about my mom's sickness and things like that. So at age 10, however, another family member, my aunt's son, married a woman, Dorothy, and she fell in love with me. And so at age 10, Dorothy and my cousin Joel adopted me. They actually adopted me at age 10. And that's, Cecil, when I think the Lord he just shined on me because of that, I'm 100% positive that I would have gone into a different direction. Because I grew up in an area in Miami, Florida called Liberty City.
Oh, yeah.
So Liberty City is rough,
Yeah.
Drugs, prostitution, gangs, you name it, it was there. And so I had family members that actually fell prey to that. And so one of my role models ended up becoming a prostitute and ended up on AIDS. She died of AIDS. And so, I'm grateful that my parents adopted me and took me out of Liberty City for a short time. Actually came back in when I was about 15 or 16, but the foundation was already developed by then. Yes. So I was already on the right path. I already had that foundation, that support that you just said. My mom, Dorothy, introduced me to the Lord and gave my life to the Lord at age 10. Okay. And so that's my childhood. It was, of course, loving. My role model became my mom, my adopted mom, Dorothy, who didn't have a college degree or anything, but it's just her integrity and her oh my gosh, you talking positive thinking? Okay. I never knew positive thinking, but now I know what's positive thinking. Back then, I didn't know what, it was just, Adrian, you can do this, you've got it. Yeah. She just made me feel like I can accomplish anything, and I believed her. And so, so I have great memories of my early childhood with my mom, Dorothy.
And like you said, it's funny because, like you said, you don't pay it any attention because you think it's just something that they do, and that they're doing when they say, "Hey, you can do it," and then you get older and you realize you get to a point to where, like in college, you get to a point to where you're like, and all of a sudden you hear in the back of your head, "Don't worry about it. Take your time. You can do it.
You do it."
And God's got a plan for you, so don't just take your time and listen for it.
Yes, don't give up. Whatever you do, I know it's rough, but don't give up. And then I could just hear her and I would just say, I got this, nope. God's got me on this one. And so, so that was my support system. So I'm grateful.
So in college, so you're doing accounting in college and you graduate. You graduate You go straight to the pros, huh?
Ha! No. No, 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 it's not straight to the pros. I had to crawl. And you know what's so funny though, because my brother thought that, I don't know what he thought, but one day he said to me, you know, Adrian, you're just, you have the silver spoon in your mouth. And I'm like, what, are you crazy? I can't, same family background. I just made the right choices. That's the difference. I decided to go to college. And so I was the only one in my family to get a college degree. And so, and I explained to him, it's no, it's not. I telling you that I have issues and I have problems and situations, but I just decide to respond to them differently than you do. And that's it. That there's no difference between me and you. It's just,
and people.
So I came out of college. And,
okay.
Oh, no, go ahead. No,
I was just about to say, and people don't understand that where they see us at certain times, they don't understand how we had to fight to get there through all the negative stuff, because we don't show it or say it, but you ain't got an idea that, man, it's a rough piece when you think you're doing right, and people don't want you to do what you're supposed to be doing.
Right. And it's a decision we make, and they think that it's easy. You know, he even told me one time, well, I've heard this several times. It's because your hair is pretty, because you're pretty. That's why you have the breaks. Like, really? Part of it may be true. Okay. So part of it, okay, I'm not going to say you're crazy, but the biggest part is that because I am prepared.
That's it.
You know, I can look pretty, but guess what? If I don't know my stuff, if I'm not prepared, you know what? I may get the job, but I won't keep it.
Right. And that's the part that people don't understand. That
they don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, that's why I try to tell my daughter and different stuff, to where she's seen you, been around you, and Jordan is like, Dad, I said, one thing that when she went to school, I told her one thing that you cannot give up on. If you get it, educational wise, can't nobody take it from you. You got it now, so it don't matter once you get it.
Right. That's it. They can't take it from you. And even if they try, you know, and I just believe this, I just believe that prayer answers things, because people do try. I'm not going to say this road has been easy. Oh, no, I'm not even going to lie like that. But, you know, it's just, again, being prepared and trusting God.
Okay, so you say you got out of college and you were selling tennis shoes.
No, wrong again. No, so I got this college degree in accounting. And so people automatically assume that you're going to go into public accounting, which is an area of accounting that most people go into to further their career. And I actually had people tell me, Adrian, if you don't get public accounting experience, you cannot be a CFO in a company, because they look for public accounting. And at the time, it was like, I think of the big 8, Ernst & Young, KPMG, PwC. So they had the big 8, and you need to be with one of those. And I said, no, that's not what I want. But I'll even back up for a second though, Cecil, because in high school, my counselor from high school told me that I really shouldn't go to an HBCU because I would be less marketable.
Wow.
Yeah. She said, now I understand you want to go to Baltimore. I understand you have family there, but instead of going to Morgan State University, why don't you go to Towson State University? Because Towson will give you more of a chance of being successful and more marketable. And I said, wow. Now I had already experienced a bad experience in high school going on a college tour in Florida. Okay. And I remember this college tour, and it was a white guy from the I guess the second floor of a dorm. He yelled down, "Go home, N-word." the N word. And I said, oh, I thought, okay, I definitely don't want to go to this college.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And that's when I decided that I wanted to go to a Black school.
Okay.
That's really the reason why I wanted to go to a Black school. And so fast forward, so I'm graduating. And so I decided that I wanted to work in a company where I can learn. When you work in public accounting, you're going from one business to the next. You're not really what you call you're jack of all trades.
Right,
And like, no, I want to work for a company. And so that's what I did. I actually worked in college at the Baltimore Sun, which is equivalent to the St. Louis Post.
Okay. Okay.
I worked at the Baltimore Sun as in college in an area where people called, I can't remember the name of the department, but where people call complaints when I didn't get my newspaper. Where's my newspaper? I paid. Oh, or someone, you well, I'm sorry you didn't pay. Well, so that's the department I worked in. But when I graduated from college, I went to the HR department and I said, I will be graduating from college with a bachelor's degree in accounting in 3 months. And I would like to apply for a job here, full-time job in your accounting department. She said, well, I'm sorry, we don't have anything available. But we have your information, your resume. We know you're working here, so we'll let you know. And they actually created a new position.
Oh, man, good.
And so that was my first position out of college. And it was awesome. And lived in Baltimore for 4 years after that, working, left there and went to an ad agency. And then decided I wanted to come back home to Miami to be with my family.
Okay. Now, okay, so we're nowhere near accounting. We're in an ad agency now.
Yeah, but see, that's the beauty of accounting, that you can do accounting. Accountants are needed in every business in the world, not even in America, but in the entire world. And that's why I took accounting, Cecil, because my counselor, the one who said, don't go into law, but go into accounting, she also told me, if you become an accountant, you will never be out of a job.
That's true. Now that's true. That's true.
And I believe her. I believe her.
And like I said, as you know, my little cousin Brandy, she's an accountant, and accounting is just, like I said, I was like, okay, you're gonna do accounting? She's like, yeah. I said, okay.
Okay.
And she's a persistent numbers and facts person. It's like,
absolutely.
Give it to me. I'm like, hey, let's do it like this.
No, not in accounting. Accounting is black and white. Which is another reason why I didn't want to go. I guess I wouldn't have been a good lawyer because it's gray.
Yeah.
Law is gray. Oh, well, it could. Well, maybe no. Accounting, there's no gray.
1 + 1 is always 2.
Always.
So now we're doing the ad agency and football. How do we get to football?
Sure. So after the 4 years of working in Baltimore after college, so I spent 8 years in Baltimore, 4 college and then 4 working, went back home to Miami to be with family, and I'm doing my thing. I'm happy. I'm working at an aviation company. I was promoted from assistant controller to controller. Happy. Joined the National Association of Black Accountants. We call it NABA. Brandy know it very well, NABA. And so I'm doing my thing at NABA. I've decided I volunteered to be the student affairs director for NABA, which meant that I tutored college students in accounting at our Black university in Miami called Florida Memorial College. So that was what I did as a volunteer. Took it very seriously. One day, colleague calls and says, hey, I got something to tell you, confidential. I said, okay, we went to lunch. She said, I just interviewed for the controller's position with the Miami Dolphins. And I said, oh my gosh, that is so awesome. He said, yes. And I used, I'm going to make up a name, John, as a reference. Okay. And I said, oh, okay. Now, I didn't know John very well, but John knew me because of the work that I did as a volunteer, like I was getting paid. I treated my volunteer work like I was actually getting paid. I was serious about it. I took it serious because those students needed me. So I remember how hard accounting was.
Yeah, yeah.
So, so I said, well, John is going to give you a good reference. Don't worry. I get back to my office from lunch. I get a call from John. Hey, Adrian, the Dolphins just called me for Peter. And I said, before you hire Peter, you need to interview Adrian. Sure enough, the Dolphins called me. I got an interview for the controller's position with the Dolphins. I got hired. Then I had to call my dear friend Peter back to say, sorry, I just took your job. But as you can imagine, we're no longer friends. Okay, just what to say.
Look, I'm gonna call you. Look, I'm gonna change from Adrian to Aretha. Now that was a Aretha Franklin move.
That was yes. And then and then Aretha would say, hey, but what God has for you is for you.
There it is. Oh, see, so that's the journey. But I mean, it's just
that's the journey. That was my journey into the NFL. So that's how I got started in the NFL.
And Miami, you're back like, again. So my question is, are you still having this desire for the 4 seasons when you're back in Miami? And
so yeah, so I did miss. So yes, I was still. Yeah, I was missing the Baltimore 4 seasons. So yeah, my freshman year in college, it snowed 24 inches.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you about that. Yeah.
That was my first time seeing snow leaving Florida. And I had an 18 karat gold bracelet that I lost in the snow. So I'll never forget that experience.
And you still want the 4 seasons.
I just learned to take all my jewelry off first. Take everything off and then go play in the snow.
I mean, Adrian, I'm telling you, I'm shaking my head because I'm like, we sit here talking, ooh, I need to go somewhere where it's warm.
I know.
I'm like, ooh, I need to go somewhere where it's cold. Really?
Yes.
Really?
No, gosh. I love it. No, so I actually, and tell you what, to fulfill that urge for 4 seasons or cold, I joined the Miami ski club. Was called the Sunshine Slopers.
Okay.
Snow skiing. And so I learned how to snow ski when I moved back home to Miami, and went skiing twice a year. Denver, not Denver, but Colorado, Breckenridge, whatever. So I still had my fix.
You just had to have some snow, didn't you?
I had to have it. So had to have it.
So now everything with Miami is moving forward, and the Rams.
Yeah. So I'm at Miami now. Got my CPA and all my first year with the Dolphins. I didn't like it, and I had to pivot. I knew it was time to pivot. I was at halftime. Okay. And so I said, okay, you know what am I going to do? And I prayed, God, what do I do? So I decided to get my MBA so that I can go and work for IBM, because that was my plan, was to go work for corporate America. Gotcha. And then the family that owned the Dolphins in Joe Robbie Stadium lost it and had to sell it financially. Right. So they sold it to Wayne Huizinga, who owned Blockbuster. He founded the Waste Management. So a businessman. And now I love it again. Because I didn't, after 1 year with the Dolphins, I was bored stiff. And so I knew it was time to pivot. And now here I am 2 years later, I'm working, got my MBA, graduated with the MBA, and I'm working for a man who was a businessman, and it was awesome. But I was promoted on the stadium side, and I wanted to get back into football. Okay. And I heard that the LA Rams were moving to St. Louis. So I made a network contact. Hey, they said, yes, we do know the president of the Rams, John Shaw. And so I'll send your resume. And I interviewed with John Shaw and got the job almost. Yeah. So I spent 12 years with the Rams. Man.